Tampa Bay Chief Meteorologist Bobby Deskins.
And I'm meteorologist Colleen Campbell.
And welcome to our Wednesday weather update. We've actually been doing that all week this week at this time. Here on our 10 Tampa Bay Plus streaming app, we're glad you're joining us here. We're talking weather impact alert, and basically it's the rain kind of still wrapping around this big broad area of low pressure that we're calling Invest 93L, that tropical wave. And it's been a little bit of a road for it out there.
It's been up and down and all around.
Yeah, it started off the east coast of Florida, crossed over North Florida parts of yesterday. It's kind of skimming along the Panhandle right now, and half on land, half off, and it's just not doing much. If you look outside right now, you can see that we've still got some gray skies, some showers and storms pushing through the area. And that's basically moisture that's associated with the backside of the system. So the system here is really poorly organized. You can see where the center took it up over land here. And in fact, I think I zoomed in just a little bit more. So you can see the tropical systems do not develop over land, at least not the center. But the problem with this one is where's the center? Right? I mean, we've got all this moisture. It's been sheared, number one. So wherever the center was, we had a bunch of wind coming in out of the north and the east, and that was shearing it and blowing all the convection off to the south and the west, okay? But the center actually changed. If you look back at this path over here, it went down, it went up. They had it come down over to here and then straight up and then back over. That's because when tropical systems are trying to form, you're going to get a little spin here, you're going to get a little spin over here, and eventually one of them takes over. And in this case, one took over here, one took over here, and then another one reformed and went up to over here. So they just kind of connected the lines. And so it looks like it's been doing some wild things. It's just been kind of meandering out there. But that does not look like a big tropical system right now. Yeah,
and Bobby, we were saying earlier, James and I, the circulation looked a little bit further out to the west where it was trying to organize, because as you said, when it's a elongated area, low pressure like this, it just doesn't have the best organization. And sometimes it can be hard to find exactly where that center is. So if you see that path and you're saying, man, that looks goofy, well, yeah, it has been. This has been Invest 93L for you.
So she's talking about these convection areas out here, right?
Yeah.
What you want to know, see this right here? You see how they're spinning, they're pinwheeling off of that? That's most likely the center there. But when we were watching this on the East Coast, we would see the areas of convection like this. And inside there, you'd see a little spin. In fact, look, you can see that right there. There's one right there. That's right in here. See that? See it spinning a little bit? I need to get the thing out of the way. Watch this area in here. You're going to watch it rotate a little bit. Right there.
Yep, and that's around the same time that that was probably when we did our update, 11 a.m. So this is on what, a 12-hour loop? So yeah, that would make sense because we were looking at that.
So poorly organized. The chance of development still at 40%, but what we're seeing is if the center, which is now trying to come off near Panama City and get out over the bay, get out over the Gulf, and it's not much. It's not much out over the Gulf. But later tonight, if it does something, let me kind of draw a little circle. If it does something maybe like this, and then turns, what some of the models are suggesting, it's this area in here where it has the chance to fire up. So you see some of these thunderstorms that fire up. Watch right in here. See those firing up right there? If that can happen around this center later tonight and overnight tonight, then this thing has a little bit of a chance. But it's extremely close to land. It's going to be really tough. And by the way, it's already raining in parts of southeast Louisiana, and that's really what we're tracking all of this for, is to find out what the weather will be like over land, right? So they're already getting some rain. Will this be a big tropical system, a tropical storm? Dexter would be the next name on the list. There's only about a 40% chance from the Hurricane Center at this point, which means 60% that it doesn't. And we will know tonight and early tomorrow morning because all of that's going to be moving in that direction by that time. Okay, so very little time for it to strengthen, very little room for it to strengthen over water. So the odds are starting to get a little bit lower. Now anything can happen, and especially if it does over that track I was showing you right here, because obviously that's out over water just a little bit. All right, how is that affecting us? Well, you may be hearing showers and thunderstorms out there now.
Thunder,
just passing showers. In fact, I think rain chance is about 50% today, maybe 40 to 50% today. You can see some rain moving through the area now. Tomorrow, we'll have the same thing. It'll all be moving up from the southeast to the northwest. Tomorrow, the coverage will be a little bit more than today. Okay, but that's it, right? We're not talking a lot of wind or anything like that. We're talking about passing showers and storms. And because we've seen so much rain over the last several days, some of those are going to put down about 2 to 3 inches of rainfall. and we could get some localized flooding. It's a small chance. It's nothing that far out of the ordinary. We had yesterday, at least portions of yesterday, a flood watch for most of our area. We don't have that today, and we probably won't have that for tomorrow either. Okay, so what we will have is more showers and thunderstorms than what we had out there today. And that's about it. So if we weren't really talking about this, you just think there were afternoon storms pushing through for Wednesday and Thursday. All right, but they are coming in from the south and the east. They're on the backside of this tropical wave, and that's making them have a little bit heavier rainfall. Let's get in there and talk about Pasco, northern Hillsborough County. That's a really good thunderstorm that's moving north-northwest now. And that's the good news, is that they are moving a little bit quicker today.
Yeah.
And it's been a little breezy today as well.
Yeah, we were talking about the marine forecast. Not a great day to be out on the water. Hopefully everybody listened to us. Now, if you were out earlier today, you probably had a few dry hours, but yeah, it could be rocking out there, especially for those smaller vessels, and certainly not swimming weather either. So hopefully you're being careful if you are somebody that's vacationing here. Of course, if you ever have any questions, you could reach out to us. But yeah, the tropical system that we were seeing if it was going to form, see if it would turn into Dexter, as Bobby said, unless it gets into that warm basin of water, it really doesn't have much of a lifespan. The rain that you're seeing today, as we mentioned a few times here, really driving along with those southeasterly winds. So it's pretty typical to our regular summer pattern, right, Bobby? And now they are moving fast, as you mentioned. So we don't like the slow moving storms because that dumps a lot of rain. We saw that earlier this week where areas in Polk County had 10 inches of rain, Polk Hillsborough County line, right? So that was a big significant rainfall. Bobby's bringing up the radar estimate rainfall totals from the past 24 hours.
I think this
12
is
hours?
12.
Yeah, okay.
Usually it's 12, and this kind of gives you an idea of what we've seen so far today. That's why we keep it at about 12 hours. But 1 to 3 is what I would say if you get rain. Not everybody's getting rain, but that's this line that we're showing you right now. That's a pretty solid line that's going to get sent. Obviously, Central Hillsboro's got it now, but that's going to get most of Northwest Hillsborough, Northern Pinellas, and almost all of Western Pasco County. All right, so it's getting Newport, Ritchie, Trinity, Hudson. It'll get all the way up there. Wesley Chapel, just about seeing it right now, as a matter of fact. In fact, really, the stronger thunderstorm is right there over Wesley Chapel right now, down to Pebble Creek. But that'll be moving pretty quickly through Aaron. So Aaron, it's coming. State Road 52, we've got a little bit there just west of San Antonio, but it will make it all the way back out towards Hudson. All right, so expect that to go all the way out to US 19, and eventually it gets up in the Spring Hill area, although we're just now starting to get the storms to show up here in the Spring Hill area. I don't expect a lot within the next 15 minutes, but after about 30 minutes in Spring Hill, it should fill in. You can see all that kind of main line is back there down towards Darby on the 75 corridor. Down in the Pinellas, not as much, and you can see it's going to be northern Pinellas more than anything else, but what time we got here? It is 4:38 commute times. There you are. We got rain on the Howard Franklin, rain in Rocky Point, getting ready to hit the Courtney Campbell, and the Gandy Bridge is wet as well. So obviously slowing things down a little bit. And anything moving north out of town, up the Veterans, and obviously up 75, 275, going to see some rain there. A little bit bigger picture here. There's not as much upstream. Polk County, I mean, we've been having a ton of rain, it seems like, in the last 4 or 5 days for Polk County.
Oh, yeah.
It's a little bit more spotty, and that looks good right there.
Yeah.
Because Highlands has been seeing a ton of rain. And now you can see that we're basically looking at just a few showers. I think what will happen tonight is we still have these to come through, but once we start getting past about 6 to 7 o'clock, most of the energy of the day, as the sun is getting lower, will be going away, and most of this will fall apart. Kind of early, 6:30, maybe 7:30 time frame, and then we're pretty much done with all of it. Okay, now 40% chance of development. We were talking about this. Let's get back into tropical aspects of it. You can see where the center is now, just ready to come off near Panama City. All right, and so that's key. You can see the little spin that's again rotating off of that. See these storms rotating right there. What does that look like? It's probably going to be up here and not down here. All right, if it was down here, I'd be thinking it has a better chance of developing. It's probably going to be up here, less of a chance, but either way, it's just going to push some moisture in that direction. Here are the forecast models. And in fact, let's come back over here. You can see a lot of those are just basically right there along the coast. So it just doesn't have a whole lot of room. And then it does look like it wants to turn once it gets around to the west of the Mississippi River there. A lot of the moisture will be coming along and even west of that, but eventually, when you remember we were talking about those lines that were pinwheeling out, that's all up here into Alabama and over into Mississippi. That's today, tonight, and during tomorrow. Nothing terrible for there, but areas I think in southeast Louisiana would see more rain. All right, let's talk about our forecast here, and then we'll jump over. This is our forecast model, the graph we call it, and this is about now, okay? Now watch as we go into this evening. That's around 8:30 or so.
Yeah, much quieter.
Much quieter, yeah. It's almost all done. Notice the winds. See the winds out here? Still out of the south-southeast. Okay, and we'll do the same thing for tomorrow. It's not a lot of wind, but it's certainly breezy along the coast and just a light breeze for inland locations. Now let's go out to Thursday morning. Nice and dry. Posted a picture on my Facebook page earlier that somebody sent in, and man, because we have these storms here in the morning, tall cumulus clouds, and the sun's coming up from this direction, they really light up these clouds, and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
I think tomorrow morning is going to be similar, so get your cameras ready, and please send in some pics to me and Colleen if you see anything like that. Now, this is 2:30 tomorrow afternoon. Look where we are. Again, showers and storms right here along the coast. This is a little bit more coverage than what we saw yesterday. So let's go out to about 5 o'clock, and you see they kind of converge right over the Tampa area and into Pasco and Hernando and Citrus County. And then after that, we're done. They fall right apart.
Yep. So again, anybody that knows about our typical sea breeze patterns, when we have that southeasterly wind, more of a coastal chance for those showers and storms. So I'm looking at you, Steve. I have Bobby, somebody that, we get the viewers that reach out, our friends, and saying, I live west of US 19. When am I getting the rain? And yeah, lately it's been more across our interior inland locations, but with the south-southeast winds, it's really going to pin next 24, 48 hours. This is your chance to shine, our coastal communities. So.
Yeah, great point, Colleen, because if you wake up in the morning, you look at the map, and you see a southeast wind in the morning, or if you watch our forecast model. So let's go back out here. So I'm going to show you Thursday morning, okay, 7 a.m. Thursday morning. You're watching from the beach. Do you see these winds here over Manatee County, Hillsborough County near Tampa, St. Pete? See how they're from the southeast? That, if we're going to get thunderstorms, that should be a sign to you that you have a better chance of seeing those storms. If that wind's just out of the south or out of the southwest, you've got a small chance for storms midday, but everything's blowing inland in the afternoon, okay? And we call those thunderstorm regimes because there's different regimes according to where the wind is. There's several of them. But we can tell in the morning who has the best chance of seeing showers and storms. It's not only that direction, but how strong those winds are blowing. If they're blowing stronger, man, those storms are stuck right there along the coast. If they're lighter south to southeast winds, then they'll start along the coast, but some of them will push inland just a little bit. So that's why we try and show you here on the forecast model what those winds are, along with the clouds and the showers, right? That's what everybody wants to see, where's the rain at. But we show you those winds so that if we don't actually mention your particular town, you'll be able to get an idea of what to look for. So southeast winds, let's go back over this model again. Look where they're pushed. See how they're pushed along the coast? Now, imagine a pot of boiling water, right? You put a pot of water on there, you turn the stove on, and the bubbles just start to pop up. That's what's happening over land here, right? We got a lot of moisture on the ground, we got a lot of moisture in the air. Sun comes in the morning, here we go. Sunny for the most part, right? Lots of sunshine. That land mass you see there, Lake Placid, Fort Myers, all that's heating up.
Yep.
And then watch it just boil up.
Yeah.
They just
There
boil
we go.
up.
2:30,
right?
3 o'clock.
Yep, and if the wind is south-southeast, it's blowing them towards the coast, which that is, and also to the north, of course, when you have more of a southerly breeze, and then it clears things out. Now, at the same time that's happening, this is overnight Thursday night into Friday. It's about 3 a.m. Here's where our model thinks the system is. Now, it's been pretty consistent in saying that something is here. Now, yesterday and the day before, it had closed off a low here. It was probably saying it was close to tropical storm, at least a tropical depression. Right now, it doesn't even have that. But you can see there's the rotation a little bit. You can see that kind of comma shape there.
Yeah.
That is where it thinks it's going. Watch this as we go through the day on Friday. That's Friday at 5 o'clock. The moisture's back in, and then it's gone. It's over land. And in fact, actually, we tend to dry out as we head towards the weekend.
You brought it. Okay, I was going to say, if you have the precipitable water map, This shows it really well. We were looking at this earlier too.
'Cause this is interesting. This gets
Yeah.
really interesting. Here it is. So what you're watching is the darker greens. That's all the tropical moisture associated with Invest 93, right? It's going to move over to here. It's going to come up to here. And it's going to come over to here. And then next week, it's going to come right back down here again.
Recycle.
All right, so watch this. There you go. You see those dark. I mean, that is a ton of rain right here.
Yeah,
wherever
that
that is,
blue.
those dark.
Oh, yeah.
That blue, that is way up there on the. This is the amount of moisture from the ground all the way up in like a cubic yard. If you were able to just squeeze it out, cubic meter, right, and squeeze out all the way from the ground all the way up, you'd end up with over 2 inches of rain. That blue there is 2.5. It's a lot. It's literally a bit more than that. So there's the core of that moisture. Now let's go out to Saturday night, Sunday, into Monday. This is actually late Sunday night. Here it is. It's actually, now it's come up, it's here, it's kind of transitioning over to the southeast. Now watch what all this does. That is Tuesday morning, here we go. Now when you get this over top of you and you warm things up, you're going to get a lot of afternoon showers and thunderstorms, and you're going to get some heavier rainfall out of it, okay? We're on the cusp of that by Tuesday. But then I think Tuesday afternoon and Wednesday, we're going to get a taste of that.
Yeah.
So we may have a weather impact alert for us for Tuesday and into Wednesday. This is Wednesday morning at 7 a.m. That's the precipitable water number for Tampa. That is really high.
Yeah.
So that means any storms that we get could cause some minor flooding pretty quickly. But the core of this is out over here. Okay, it's out over the Panhandle. And then watch as we go through the day on Wednesday. Now it's sitting out here. By the way, these white lines I'm showing you, those are surface winds. Is it trying to spin something up here again? Like it's always trying to spin something up here lately. Not very organized, but yeah, it's trying to do that all over again. All right, now let's talk. What time we got here? We got some time, I think.
4:47.
All right, let's talk rivers. So, was it yesterday?
Some flood warnings, yeah.
It was early yesterday. We had flood warnings issued for some of the creeks, some of the rivers around the area because they were forecast to reach flood levels, okay? That is not the case anymore. This is Horse Creek in Arcadia. There's the actual river level. You see the dark blue right there? The forecast did have it up here about a foot above, but now it's not even getting to come out of the banks yet, okay? So the forecast has changed quite a bit, but it will be coming up as we get into Thursday, Friday, or Friday into Saturday. All right, now, Little Manatee at Waimama, same deal. This was forecasted to go up, and now it's not. Okay, we just didn't get all of the rain that we were thinking we could get. Now let's go over to the Alafia River in Lithia. This one, more than any of them, is going to be closer, at least coming up towards the banks.
Yeah.
All right, and that would be really, it's almost there now, and it may rise just a little bit. Now this is eastern Hillsborough County. We just had some rain go through that area, probably about 1 to 1.5 inches of rainfall. So this is a forecast. This blue line you see here is the actual reading. Okay, this line here is the forecast. This all may come up a little bit. All right, so I would say that would mean Thursday, Friday, it's probably running a little high. It's probably getting up towards the top of the bank. This is flood stage, the orange, where it turns orange, okay? I don't think it gets to that. However, what we just showed you on the forecast models, we do expect to see more rain tomorrow afternoon. In fact, a little bit better coverage tomorrow afternoon than what we saw today. So depending on where that rain lines up, and then one of the reasons why the Alafia is so high is remember Plant City and down to Keysville, or Bealsville, excuse me, Keysville Road, we had 10 inches of rainfall. In fact, some areas more than that in about a 3-hour time period. So all of that water is draining and eventually drains down into the creeks and the rivers, and the Alafia is right there. So that's the reason why we're really watching that one. Okay, now this is the forecast for tomorrow. First half of the day is great. It's kind of like today. There's really no big issues, but right around lunchtime, 12:30, 1:30 time frame, we will start to see some pop-up showers and storms, and then especially as we get towards 4, 5, 6, 7 o'clock, that's when we'll have the best chance for this. We're going to keep, Colleen, you said through 8 o'clock, right?
Yeah, 8 p.m.
So
Which tomorrow will be basically a repeat of today. So again, we were showing you the future cast tomorrow morning, starting off a little bit drier. Tomorrow afternoon, 2, 3 o'clock, we have those southeasterly winds. Bam, right closer to the coast is where we'll see most of that rain.
Yeah, and the wind that we're talking about for boating, it's up tomorrow, you can see, but it's not as much as it was today. Okay, so I know scalp season's getting going real good here. I would probably, if I had the chance to go tomorrow or Friday, I'm going Friday. Okay, tomorrow's still a little bit on the bumpy side with south to southeast winds. We went 10 to 15 knots versus 10 to 20, 15 to 20 today, 10 to 15 tomorrow, and I put a plus there because there will be some gusts a little bit higher than that. 2 to 3 footers, and then a moderate chop out there on the bay. That's all just a little bit less than what we had out there. Water temperatures cooled a little bit with this rain down to around 87 degrees. It's not that cool, but it cooled a little bit. All right, here's the European forecast model for rainfall. So you see tomorrow we have about a 60% chance, and you can see the highest is right here along the coast. Remember what we showed you in the models, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock especially. And then you notice as we get into Friday, it's kind of similar, but it's less altogether. Dropped it down to 40, and we went 30% chance Saturday and Sunday, but I'm telling you, those numbers seem high.
Yeah, some drier air sneaking in. That will be nice.
Yeah, but it's also warm air. It is going to get hot this weekend. 93, 94 in Tampa. Some spots will be about 95, 96 for inland locations for daytime highs this upcoming weekend. Plus, it'll be humid, so it's going to feel about 105, 110 in some spots. So it's not too much more than what we normally have, but it is a little bit more. And then as we get into Monday, a slightly better chance for some rain, and then we'll have to see. Remember, Tuesday, we'll be looking up here. Okay, remember that moisture coming up and doing a loop-to-loop?
Yeah.
That Invest 93 moisture.
See if it wraps around.
Yeah, so by Tuesday, we'll be looking for that. That's this one here again, right? Let's come out Monday. Here it comes. That's what I just showed you through Monday. Now here comes Tuesday. So obviously rain chances are going to jump back up pretty much there, especially with the PW 2.4, 2.5. All right. Now, precip totals. Just the European forecast model, we're definitely going down. Okay, the blues there, that's an inch, inch and a half, and you can get that in 1 or 2 storms, right? Obviously, the heaviest is going to be out there along the coast. Let's talk temperatures. And you can see that basically, it's going to pop up here. It is not. There's going to be 0 temperature.
Just 96 in Jacksonville, that's it.
Yep, they're the only ones. Well, here's our forecast. So 94, both Saturday and Sunday. It is going to be a scorcher out there. Again, 91 is average for this time of the year. Okay, so it's not that far off, but we will not have as much in the way of afternoon thunderstorms to cool us off.
Yeah, feeling like the triple digits.
Yeah, oh yeah. And it usually does, but I mean, we're talking 105 to about 110. Now we get heat advisories closer to 108 and above.
Yeah.
And most of us will not be there for 3 hours, I think is the time limit. Most of us just won't be there, but it will be close. Of course, we will let you know if we do get any of those. And that just means take it extra easy. But it's Florida, we're out in the heat and the humidity, and a lot of us jump in the pool, in the water, or in the air conditioning anyway. But tea times, kids' soccer games, that kind of stuff this weekend, pay a little bit closer attention. Make sure everybody's hydrated. And the heat stroke rule, heat exhaustion was one thing, heat stroke's even worse.